Five Nights at Freddy's map in Fortnite Creative. Now, before we get started, I would like to clarify that this is not my map, and I will leave a link to where I found the original map as well as the map code if you guys wish to play it. Okay, so let's begin. So we're going to start off with the doors and the lights. As you guys can see, when the lights are shot, the lights will turn on, and when the door is shot at, the door will close. This is a very simple mechanic and it's very simple to set up. So open your inventory and grab these devices. We're going to need a trigger device and a lock device. So grab the trigger device and place it down and copy these settings. So the way that the trigger works is that whenever a player shoots at it, it will send a signal to a certain channel. So now grab your preferred gun. I'll be using this one from the military gallery. So now take your door and resize it and rotate it like this. Now we're going to work on the lock device. So first I would recommend that you resize it, as sometimes it can get fidgety. Now open the lock device and copy these settings. Now take your lock device and place it on the door like this. Don't worry, it won't be visible in game. Now take your trigger device and rotate it like this and place it like this. Now I will explain what is happening with this mechanic. Whenever a player shoots at the trigger device, it sends a signal to the lock device telling it to close the door. So now all you need to do is grab a gun and start the game to test this out. As you can see, this mechanic works flawlessly, but the trouble is that this isn't very console friendly. I did come up with another design, however, to make it much more console friendly. So end the game and follow along. Now this is pretty much the same design, except that this time we're going to be using buttons instead of triggers. So now open your inventory and grab a button. Resize the button if you wish, but you don't really have to. I'm just doing this for the tutorial. So now rotate the button in the direction that you wish and place it down. So now grab the same door that you used for the last design and place it down. So now open up your button and copy these settings. So what will happen here is whenever the player pushes the button, it will send a signal to the lock device telling it to close the door. The same thing as the trigger device. So now start the game and test this out. As you can see, this design works flawlessly as well. But we know when we're done. So end the game and back to the drawing board. So now open your inventory and grab the second button and copy these settings. So now open your inventory and grab yourself a music sequencer and a trigger device. Place on the trigger device anywhere nearby. Now place down your music sequencer and make sure that it is out of view from players. Open your music sequencer and copy these settings. Open your trigger device and copy these settings. Now grab the trigger and place it inside of the music sequencer like this. Now everything is complete. So you can move the boat close together on top of each other or nearby each other, but for the sake of the video, I will keep them close by. Great, so now everything is set up, everything is ready to go. All that is left is to test it out, so start up the game and make sure that everything functions properly. As you can see, this button is functioning, so the door should close. Now the button has disappeared and cannot be used anymore. This button, however, has just appeared and opens the door and triggers a sequencer. I will repeat this one more time to demonstrate to you guys. And that's how everything works. It's not very complicated on how this all works, but I will do the best that I can to explain to you guys how everything functions and what everything does. Button A is linked to the lock device, which when button A gets pushed, it will send a signal to the lock device telling it to close the door, and because of that same channel, it will disable button A and it will no longer be used until it can be enabled again. Button B is also linked to that same lock device, but has control over button A being functional again. When button B gets pushed, it will send a signal to that lock device telling it to open the door, and through that same signal, it will send a signal to button A telling it to be active again. And that same signal will trigger the music sequencer, which will run right over the trigger device, which will send a signal back to button B, telling it to be disabled through that same channel. When button A is pushed, it will send a signal to button B to be re-enabled again. Now that was a lot of information for our first tutorial, but I promise it is very, very simple. Now, if you guys haven't already, please do consider leaving a like if you did enjoy this video, and subscribing if you are new. Also, don't forget to turn on those post notifications because this is only part 1 and part 2 will be out soon. So, my name is AceGameBoy and I will see you guys all next time. Stay safe, stay positive, and keep on gaming.